On today's episode, we're going to be talking that bull. I'm talking about the Hamite deity, to be exact. Do you think that there's a significance in what and who was worshipped when it comes to the Hamites and the Hebrews and the differences between the two? Well, today's going to be a short video, but you know I want to talk about it. Let's go. Welcome to the Ready Brew. My name's T. Edge, King Beaker 40 Brew, and today we're talking that Hamite Bull. I'm talking about the deity. So many times growing up as believers, we were taught to always pay attention to the spiritual things, never to pay attention to the physical and actual things that were going on in the Bible. Subconsciously, we were taught to only focus on the things that the preacher, the Sunday school teacher, or the Bible study teacher taught us. With that mentality, we grew accustomed to only focusing on the things that were presented to us, never to really focus on the things that were actually in the scriptures. In fact, that comes from the Roman Catholic Church, or the Catholic Church to be specific, meaning the Eastern Orthodox, because the Protestant reformers who actually translated the scriptures into something that could be understood by the laity was their aim was to actually make it possible for us to be able to read and decipher the scriptures ourselves. So today I want to focus on a very minute, but I think a very impactful point, something that we were focused, or should I say trained not to pay attention to. When it comes to the sons of Noah, the Bible talks about specific nuances of each. Some of the things that I've discussed in past videos, today is going to just be a highlight of those things. So let's look at a few things about the Hamites that I think is very important to who they are as a people. Hamites worship then and Hamites worship now bovine deity. These things can be seen not only in scripture of old, but as time progresses even today. That's right, the Hamites worship bovine deity. Now, of course, with the colonization of the world, there have been some rearranging of sorts of the deities of the world. Of course, Christ stands at the forefront, but is it this Christ of Scripture? That's for a different video. For this video, we're specifically discussing the deity of the Hamites, the bovine deity of the Hamites to be specific. Leviticus 18:21 reads, "And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord." Exodus 32:4 reads, "And he received them at their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt." Leviticus references what is known to us as the Middle East. The god Molech was a Hamite deity that the people of the Middle East sacrificed their children to. In fact, the way that we know that Molech is represented by the sons of Ham in the Middle East, typically in an area, the gods of the people are used in the names of the people. For instance, the Philistines had a king named Abimelech. Now, if you pay attention, the end of Abimelech's name has the name Molech in it because they worshiped the god Molech. You can see this trend throughout scripture from the area of the Philistines, which is just before Egypt, all the way back to the Euphrates in the land known as Iraq. And just as a side note, even the Hebrews adopted these practices because they lived amongst the Hamite people. This brings me to Exodus 32 and 4. We see that the children of Israel erect a golden calf in the wilderness after God delivers them from Egypt. Now, the reason this is significant is not necessarily because it was a foreign god, but specifically because this foreign god was a bovine god that they inherited from Egypt. In fact, there were even bovine deities in Europe because, unbeknownst to many people, the Europeans were actually devout followers of the Egyptian religions. Today, as I mentioned earlier, there's a glaring instance of bovine worship in India and their surrounding lands. Now, I just want to be clear. This isn't an effort to try and disparage or talk negatively about the people of India or those areas. It's specifically to show that these things and these practices still exist because of centuries old practices of the Hamite people. Now, the religion of Zoroastrianism, which also had something to do with the god Molech, grew to depict a magi slaying a bull in the Christian era. Now, in my summation, this was the Romans or the Christians showing the Hamites that their God had destroyed or killed their deity. Now, before we get out of here, if we go back south, down into Africa, below Egypt, in East Africa specifically, we can see tribes of African people who have cattle herding cultures. Do you think that these people might also be Hamites? Or could these people simply be Hebrew descendants who continue to carry on the customs of their foreparents? The one thing that sticks out is that these people don't worship their cattle. They use their cattle as currency. Their cattle is their symbol or significance in the world. It shows how wealthy they are. These people don't worship their cattle as deities. In fact, when you look at the continent of Africa, there's nowhere outside of Egypt that worships cattle as deity. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a very short segment, a very small teaching, something that I just wanted to draw out just to let everybody know that there's something to the Hamite Bulls. There's something that we should pay attention to that shows significance in the Bible as to who the Hamites are. Soon I'm going to get off the Hamites because there are other things that I want to teach on, but I think it's very important that we lay this groundwork because there have been so many centuries that have passed where people have believed that the blacks or African people are Hamite people. Well, what do you think about this teaching, this recording? Do you think I got anything wrong? Do you think I was way out there? Or do you think I stretched it out too far? Whatever it is, leave your comments down below. Again, I want to thank all of my most recent subscribers. I appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed, I'm going to ask that you click the little button down here in the corner. If you don't see it, just turn your phone to the side and you should see it down there. But at any rate, if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. or you can reach me at theruddybrew@gmail.com. Again, that's theruddybrew@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to dialogue with you. But for now, thank you again for joining me here at the Ruddy Brew. Until the next time, peace.